All right, back at it again. AJ's pick of the week. I gotta look this company up because I feel like they've changed their name. Or so your pick of the week this week is ArcelorMittal, ticker symbol MT. Where's this coming from? What do they do? Let me get caught up here.
Boring stock. They're based out of Europe. I believe they're a Netherlands company, but you could correct me on that. Metals, just metals. They've got steel and iron ore refining and mining all over the world, but they're in the business of metals. And so you can tell that they've got world investors. World investor companies tend to have bigger gaps between open and close prices, but yet we seem to be in this channel between about 30 and 34, $35. And I'm looking for a top sip. This stock has actually been on our watch list for a decade, I think even longer, 15 years. It goes through these periods of boring sideways movement. They're a very profitable company. You can see that if you look at their earnings, like $1.32, $1.05, and their current share price, I mean, that's a great earnings to share price ratio, right? So they're a good company. They produce stuff, and we as humans use stuff, and they have a very good business on that. So I'm looking for a top. As you can see here, my signal has been a little bit contradictory. I got my signal on Wednesday. I did not get follow through on yesterday, Thursday, and I might get that signal erased today. It isn't the end of day, but already my arrow is forming. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tweak my fast MACD indicator. Remember, the fast MACD is a 6 for the fast length exponential, a 19 for the slow length exponential, and a 3 for the MACD average length, also exponential. But I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to calculate those prices not on the bar's closing price, but on the volume weighted average price. And so that gives me a little bit of volume. You can see it didn't change the arrows much. Some of the arrows over here went away, but these two arrows are still there. It just, if there's, it makes sure that there is some volume validation in the arrows by using the VWAP as the calculation price. So if I can find a top, so I want to make sure I get my top signal. I want to make sure I get my trading day follow through. But if I get my top, I'd be all over either shorting this stock, right? Shorting is where you sell it high and then you look to buy it back low. I could either short this stock or I could use a put substitute. So the put that I picked, I went to my options lookup tool, which you can all have access to as well by signing up for those free indicators. I went out to the March 2026, and I looked down here in the put area, and when I'm looking for a substitute option, the first thing I'm looking for is that the price component is less than 5%. So this one works for me right here. And I'm also looking at the bid ask spread to make sure it's not too far apart. And so this is not too far apart. Now, I know a lot of you would say, well, what about the open interest being zero? So, open interest is, of course, the amount of option and stock shares, in this case, option shares or option contracts that are in circulation. I'm actually more interested in the bid ask spread. And the reason is because that tells me is if market makers are actually in there ready to complete the transaction. So I don't necessarily need to have the open interest. It doesn't hurt to have it, but I'd rather make sure that my bid ask spread is close. That's more important to me. So yeah, I'm looking at that March 20. I know that in my notes sip, I wrote down the $20 put. I think I meant to write down the $45 put. So I'd use this particular right here, the uh, MT March 2026 $45 put as my substitute, and then I could do a cash trade instead of a margin trade to get this started.